welcome back to Mr. Obsolete's Vintage Homesteading. Today, it's in December, and it's time for our traditional toy train Christmas video. We've done several of them so far. So anyway, we're just a traditional family with traditional family values, and toy trains have been part of our lives, and mine especially, since I was 4 years old with my first set. And I don't have that set anymore, but every set since and every other train I've had I still have, because vintage is best for me. Well, we're over at our son's house. We get the traditional tree here that Mrs. O's mother bought about 1961. We've had it up and down every year since. We have the traditional toy train underneath. We've got a 1939 Lionel standard gauge set, and then we've got the old rotating color wheel, which is something that was real popular in the 60s. But anyway, so what we're going to do, we're going to give a brief on the trains and the sizes, both scale and toy train. And toy trains are our specialty. And then we'll operate a pre-war and post-war train set. So we have a layout that has both early trains from prior to World War II, which is pre-war obviously, and then post-war, that's from after World War II. And if you're a train collector, they also have modern era, so there's the three eras that they collect trains. And so anyway, we'll be back and start running the trains. We're going to start with a pre-war O-gauge streamliner set, and we'll go from there. And we'll show the accessories on the layout, which are a mixture of pre-war and post-war. Okay, well, we're going to go over the scales real quickly. And the smallest one is what's called Z scale. And it's basically a scale model. And most of the trains we have are toy trains, so I'll talk about the differences here, but you can see how tiny that is. Next we have N scale, which is also scale. That's the second most popular size of train that people run and operate. Next we have HO, little steam engine here, a couple of cars. Now this one is what they'd call a semi-scale train. It still has a few toy-like features on it, but is mostly scale. Like for instance, the car here is made out of lithographed metal. It's not plastic. This is all die cast. And this is an early tank car, and it's also die cast. So anyway, move on to... Okay, well, this is another Fleischmann engine from Germany. This is HO scale also. There again, it's semi-scale, but has a toy-like features. But this one is a U.S. prototype, Santa Fe Railroad, or most of the other stuff here, a lot of it's European style. That was what their forte was. They had a small market in the U.S. And then we're going to skip over. This is actually O gauge here. That's a Santa Fe unit, and then here's HO. So HO stands for half of O gauge, so it's half the size. So anyway, and the one that's right in between them, this is S gauge, American Flyer. And you can see the different types of stuff they have on them. This is a U.S., but it says American Flyer on it, so it's a toy train. And this is an early version. It has the old style link couplers. Later on it had knuckle couplers. And of course, there we have the O-gauge Lionel. This is back when Lionel was the big player in the U.S. market. And the thing this is a full O-gauge engine, and this is a full O-gauge car. And then they also had O27, and the idea was it's about 2/3 the size of O-gauges. So houses were getting smaller. They wanted to make the trains smaller so they'd fit better, because HO is becoming more popular. Okay, and then the next one This is a Lionel standard gauge from about 1918. It's what they call tin plate. It's all made out of tin. This is a really nice old piece here. They run excellent. These early trains like this were exceptionally well made. So anyway, we're going to come back here shortly and we're going to be running O-gauge trains, and we're going to be running pre-World War II, and then we're going to be running a post-World War II. So if you're a collector, there's a train club, it's called TCA, and they deal with all the history and everything about them. It's really a great club to belong to if you collect toy trains. But anyway, they put the trains into three categories: pre-World War II, just pre-war as they call it, post-war, and the last one is modern era. So anyway, be right back and running the trains. Okay, well, to start with, we're going to be running a pre-war train. This is what's called the Flying Yankee. It's a streamliner set. Right before World War II, streamlining was the big deal. Trains, cars, everything you can think of. You can see it's kind of a shovel nose here. Articulated so that they could make lighter cars and have only one engine pulling it. And this particular ones were made from about 1938 to 1941. It's all die cast on the front here and all tin on the back. All the vestibules are all tin plate. So anyway, get her going here. Okay, I'm going to run a post-war engine now, but the layout is comprised of both pre-war and post-war accessories, and after we run the trains we'll show some of the accessories operating. Okay, well, we're going to come back and run the accessories. Okay, this is a 1941 magnetic crane. Magnet down here, so we'll run it through, it picks them up, and you can swing them over and drop them into the gondola. Okay, this is a barrel loader. This is about a 1955-56 model somewhere. And it uses a little vibratory motor, and the barrels come up and hit the gate here and drop into the gondola here. After we run that, we'll come back and do the log loader behind it.
Okay.
log loader. It's a 1940 model, pre-war one. We made them post-war too for quite a while. That was one of the very popular accessories. To the right of it you got a light tower. To the right of that we have a coal loader. But we're going to show you the sawmill next. Well, JK, what do you think of that train layout? Do you think that's okay, huh? What do you think there, huh? Okay, well, we're over at the flyer layout now, American Flyer S-Gauge. So what we're going to do here, we're going to run a couple of accessories first and then we'll run the trains. So, be right back. Okay, well, the first accessory you're going to operate on the American Flyer S-Gauge layout is a cattle loading and unloading car. So the cattle will run around and go up into the car here. And then if we want to unload them, bring the car up here and open the other door. And we'll change the gate down here to the unloading position. Gotta get them just right. kick the bucket on us. See, that works pretty good. This is a real early version. Later ones were simplified and actually work a little better, but this one works really good for the early era. Over here you can see our bubbling light tower. And our coal loader, I'm doing some repairs on it, and we have just a light tower here. Next we're going to come over here to the barrel loader. Okay, next we're going to be doing the log loader here. Another perfect load. Okay, well, we're going to run one more accessory here. We got Gabe the lamp lighter here, and he'll climb up the ladder and turn on the light. So. And when he turns the lights off, he can drop back down here. Okay, well, you can see that some boys never grow up, like me. Toys are for big boys too, not just little boys. So anyway, our whole family plays trains. Everybody in the family has their own train set of some sort or another. Some more than others. But anyway, it's a great hobby. You know, it's a lot of fun. We've done train stuff forever. We've ridden excursion trains all over, and I've worked on excursion railroads. Go back and watch some of my older videos, and some of them you'll see some vintage chainsaw action on the railroad. So anyway, I just want to tell everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you soon. Vintage is always better.